Hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Cathy. I was fortunate enough to have been picked to speak at today's YHS talk. This presentation will include sensitive topics such as cancer and death, which are things we tend to not talk about as often, but still important nonetheless. If at any point in time you need to leave the auditorium or would like a break from the presentation, please feel free to do so whenever. Thank you. For some of us, losing a loved one is unfortunately not all that foreign, while on the other hand, for many, it is still an unfamiliar and extremely daunting topic. The awful truth about this is that at one point or another, it is something each and every one of us will have to go through at one point. It is something each and every one of us will experience sooner or later, and I want everyone to know that you are not alone. You never are. Having lost my grandpa early last year, I was able to learn many things, and I hope that through this presentation, it will hopefully make this taboo subject a little less intimidating. To start off, I would first like to give a little background on my grandpa, or what I like to call him, my Weigo, and the relationship I had with him. Although I was born in Vancouver, my mom and I actually moved back to China when I was only a month old, and I lived there until I was 5. This meant that I grew up having a very close relationship with my maternal grandparents. They were the ones who raised me. Whenever my mom and I would fly back to China for the summer, it was always my grandpa that would pick us up from the airport. Every day, he would go out to play Chinese chess with his friends and always come back with snacks and goodies for me and my brother. Sometimes he'd even bring back a new Barbie doll for me. He would go swimming with us whenever we asked, and was always the most generous when it came to lucky red pockets during the new year. He spoiled us. He spoiled us so much that he got into countless arguments with my parents over it, and although I didn't quite understand at the time, this was his way of showing how much he loved his grandkids. The fact that I had limited time with him each day only served as a further reminder to cherish every moment I had with him. January 2018, I found out he had cancer, and on February 10th, my grandpa passed away with my grandma, uncle, and my mom by his side. This was extremely sudden, and needless to say, the entire family was shocked. While all this was happening, I received little news from my mom's end back in Canada. I realized she was going through something I couldn't possibly understand, but even more than that, in our culture, we choose not to talk about difficult topics. Once my mom had come back from China, she still gave me few details, but the one she did share with me devastated me. I excused myself and went up to my room to cry. In our household, we don't like to show emotion, and even though I knew that it was only natural to react this way, I still didn't want my mom to see. I was both grief-stricken and heartbroken. In this sense, I had to deal with my loss separate from my mother. For me, the one thing I understood early on, the one thing that truly broke me to the core, was realizing the fact that I would never get to see him again. Sorry. The realization that next summer when I go back to China, he won't be sitting in his chair playing Chinese checkers, and he won't be bickering with my grandma, paying me like nothing ever had before. A memory with him. A memory with him could never be made again. One of my biggest regrets during all this was that I wasn't by my grandpa's side when he passed. I didn't get my chance to say goodbye to him, and because of this, I experienced a range of emotions from guilt to frustration to even being angry at myself and my mom for not having taken me with her. Without even realizing it, I entered the different stages of grief. Symptoms of grief can include many things such as inability to sleep, change in appetite, becoming increasingly irritable, and the inability to concentrate. I went through all of these, and that was perfectly normal. And clearly, I'm still going through it. I dealt with these symptoms by first realizing these were necessary emotions I had to go through in order to one day, in the future, feel better. I kept telling myself that this wasn't going to last forever, and thinking about the time to come helps me to keep me sane. For me personally, I cried a lot, and still am currently. I had moments where I would literally just sit on the floor and start bawling my eyes out. It helped to release a lot of tension in my body, and although there is often a negative association tied to crying, it's far from a sign of weakness. Another way I coped was by making sure to get alone time when that was what I needed, and alternatively, also made sure to surround myself with family and friends when that was what I craved. I also talked extensively to counselors. They are here to help you, so never be afraid to go to them for help concerning anything at all, because I knew they would listen to me without evaluation. And as cheesy as it may sound, time does really heal all wounds. And last but not least, I ate a ton of ice cream. General advice. Before getting into this slide, I would first like to preface by saying that I am not trying to make generalizations about anyone or anything. Each situation is uniquely its own, and my goal here is simply to suggest ways that can help in dealing with something as difficult as losing someone in your life. Something that must be understood is the fact that grief is a process that takes time, patience, and understanding. Often, your physical self is the easiest to heal. It is imperative to get as much rest as possible and to learn to say no to activities if you don't have the energy for it. In addition, for me personally, I found it extremely helpful and fortunate that I had people to talk to whenever I needed someone to just be there and listen. Finding someone that you can pour your feelings out without fear of judgment can be extremely beneficial, even if you are someone that tends to bottle up your emotions. My friends did a great deal to help me feel better by keeping my mind occupied, and one even delivered a care box to my house. Last but certainly not the least, you must believe in yourself and your ability to adjust to the pain, because only then will you be able to come out on the other side of the tunnel. If you prefer to be able to spill your emotions anonymously, there are options as well, with many websites that exist for such a purpose. The 3 websites on the PowerPoint are amazing tools for understanding anything from the psychology of grieving to counseling online, which may be used at any point when needed. Understand that during the grieving process, reaching out for help is never a bad thing, and you will only be helping yourself. Before I conclude my presentation, I just have one more thing to add. I'm sure that right now there are many students in the audience who don't know me at all or don't know me very well and are probably thinking to themselves, why is this person, who I have zero connections with, telling me all this? And to that, you have a valid point. I may not know all of you on a personal level, but my hope in sharing this is to let you know that you are not alone and never have to be. Grief and loss are topics difficult to talk about, and my only hope is that you know I am here for you. Lastly, I would just like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity and creating such a safe and an accepting environment for me to be able to share something as personal as this. Thank you.